All right, let's talk about something that I think a lot of us have felt, but maybe haven't really put a name to. It's that fear, that little voice in your head that worries you might be, well, boring, forgettable. Today, we're going to dig into how you can stop being the background character in your own life and become someone genuinely interesting. Let's get into it. So, let me just ask you straight up. Have you ever been hanging out with your friends? Everyone's laughing, having a good time, but you get this weird, sinking feeling that if you just vanished, it wouldn't really change anything. Like, you're just there. That right there is the classic filler friend feeling. Okay, so first things first, let's actually define what we're talking about. Let's really get a handle on this whole filler friend archetype.
Now, here's the key thing to understand. A filler friend isn't someone people dislike. Not at all. In fact, they're pleasant, they're super agreeable, they definitely get invited to stuff, but they kind of live on the edges of the group. They're never the one with that crazy story that makes everyone cry laughing, and they're not the one with the strong take that gets the whole conversation going.
So, let's see. Does any of this sound familiar? Are you the person who always says, "Oh, I'm good with whatever"? When you tell a story, does it usually start with, "So my friend did this hilarious thing"? This isn't about being a bad person, not at all. It's just a sign that you don't have a really defined presence, and it can leave you feeling like your whole social life depends on just sticking with the group. So how does a person even end up here? Well, believe it or not, it usually comes from following what seems like a really good advice. Let's talk about the myth that gets so many of us stuck in this rut, what I like to call the well-rounded trap. Come on, we've all heard this a million times, right? The goal is to know a little bit about everything. That way, you can fit into any conversation. Don't be too weird, don't get too deep into one thing, just be, universally agreeable. But what actually happens when you try to sand down all your interesting edges? Well, you end up with the exact opposite of what you wanted. The goal was to be well-rounded, but the result is you're just forgettable. You wanted to know a little about everything, but now you're a master of absolutely nothing interesting. You tried so hard to avoid being weird that you just ended up being generic. Think about it. A perfectly smooth, round ball is easy to ignore. There's nothing to grab onto. So if being this well-rounded generalist is the trap, what's the escape route? It's actually pretty simple. You do the exact opposite. Let's talk about the solution. It's called the spike method.
That's right, the spike method. The idea is simple. Instead of being that smooth, forgettable circle, you're going to develop a point, a sharp, specific, and memorable point. At its very core, the spike method is about making a choice, to go deep instead of wide. It means you intentionally pick one single niche interest and you just lean all the way in. You make it your thing. And this isn't about faking it, it's about finding and growing a real, genuine passion. I mean, just think about it for a second. Who would you rather talk to at a party? Someone who tells you they kind of like movies? Or the person who starts excitedly telling you all about the genius of 1970s Italian horror films? That sharp point of interest, it's a conversational hook. It's something people can grab onto and remember you by. Okay, I can already hear you. You're thinking, this sounds awesome, but I don't have a spike. I'm not an expert in anything. Hey, don't worry. Everybody has potential spikes just waiting to be discovered. It's all about finding one and sharpening it. So let's get practical.
Here's your roadmap. Seriously, step 1, just start paying attention to what you're already curious about. What's in your YouTube history at 2 a.m.? Is it vintage synthesizers, the history of sourdough, competitive cat grooming? Whatever it is, no judgment. Then, and this is important, pick one. Just one. Then really dedicate some time to it. Read the books, watch the documentaries, find the community on Reddit. And finally, don't hide it. When someone asks what you've been up to lately, tell them about your new passion.
Okay, so you do all this. You find your thing, you go deep. What happens next? What's the actual payoff for becoming a spiky person? Well, let's look at the transformation, because it's pretty incredible. The change is fundamental. It's a total shift in how you show up in your social life. You go from having a kind of generic identity to a memorable one. You stop just following along with conversations, and you actually start initiating them. And instead of just agreeing with everyone, you have your own unique perspective to share. You literally become the go-to person for your thing, which gives you a really valuable and essential role in any group. And the benefits here are just huge. You're not just Sarah anymore. You're Sarah, the one who knows everything about urban gardening. And you know what? This isn't just about being interesting to other people. It's about being more interesting to yourself,
That deep knowledge builds real solid confidence. It helps you find other people who are into what you're into. And it means that in any conversation, you have something truly valuable to contribute.
So, when you boil it all down, it really comes to this. Just let go of that pressure to be everything to everyone. The real path to being a genuinely interesting person isn't about collecting a bunch of shallow hobbies. It's about committing to one and going deep.
And that's the real question, isn't it? This isn't about finding the coolest or the most impressive interest out there. It's about finding the one that feels authentically like you. So take a look at your own weird curiosities. What's that one thing you could totally lean into and make your own? What's your spike?